Back on Local 6 Midday, part 2 of today's Local 6 Legal Line, visiting with Tyler Brown of the Bryant Law Center, Paducah, Mayfield, and Louisville, and we are talking about criminal defense. And someone wants to know, can police use information obtained from a knock and talk in court? And we might even need to explain what a knock and talk is to make people aware of that.
Okay, it's a good question, Dave. Generally, what's referred to as a knock and talk is where you're going to have a police officer that's going to come to your residence, knock on the door to speak to you about a case. Generally, like when you're talking about a knock and talk, you're talking about a situation where an officer is likely not to have a search warrant or an arrest warrant. They're just there to either gather information or try to get information to get a search warrant for your home. So typically, they have rights to come and knock on your door just like the general public does and try and speak to you. Now, if you consent as far as allowing a police officer into your home or to answer questions, then generally, yes, they're going to be able to use that unless they've used coercion or are incredibly aggressive as far as trying to gain entrance into your home without a search warrant. Typically, you have to understand that unless they're there to execute a search warrant or an arrest warrant, if they're just executing what's called a knock and talk, then you're not expected to answer the door. You don't have to. You can, but you're going to be responsible if you consent to allowing the police into your home to conduct a search or answer questions of them. Then yes, they're going to be able to use that against you.
I have a question from Jerry, who says, I accidentally missed a court appearance earlier this week. Got my schedule confused. What should I do?
Okay. That's one that happens a lot. This is always a tricky situation, so I always just encourage people, hire an attorney. If you've got a criminal action in court, they can help you keep track of your court dates, keep in contact with you. If you have missed a court date, then you need to speak to your attorney or hire an attorney. Hopefully, if you've got a well-documented reason, say it's medical, say you're in the hospital, something like that, a lot of times, that attorney can reach out to the prosecutor in the court to try and request that bench warrant get lifted if you've missed court. Otherwise, you're going to have to turn yourself in if the court's issued a bench warrant. A lot of times they'll have a bond associated with that you can post, and then you're going to be entitled to what's called a contempt hearing, a contempt of court hearing. If you've missed court, you can work with your attorney to try and offer a defense as to why you missed that court. The judge is going to have discretion whether or not to hold you in contempt, but that's going to occur after a hearing. So the best thing you can do is just to get on it quickly, contact an attorney. Hopefully they can work on your behalf to try and have that bench warrant lifted. If not, they can represent you in that hearing to put on a good defense as to why you missed that court date.
Kevin Shannon was our guest on part 1 of today's Local 6 Legal Line, talking about personal injury. Tyler Brown has been our guest on this portion of Local 6 Legal Line, talking about criminal defense. If you would like to review either one of these segments, give us just a little bit of time. We'll mix them down, put them online, look under the Legal Line icon, and click on Bryant Law Center at WPSD Local6.com.